Hey guys! Today I'm going to be talking about herbs! This is the classic story. Person goes to supermarket, buys a live plant instead of herbs that are already cut. Then you take it home and then it just dies on you. Regardless of how much effort you've input into trying to let it survive. Let me tell you, it's not your fault. It's actually the plant's fault. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not your fault, little plant. It's the supermarket's fault. Today I'm going to be explaining to you how to keep these, little plants alive. Also, how to take care of it on the long term. And also I'll be talking about whether it's actually easier to grow your own from seed or not. So what is going on? Why are these plants always dying on people? Well, I'm going to show you that. So to show you what's going on, I bought 4 popular herbs from my local supermarket. They are basil, coriander, mint, and thyme. I've bought these because they're commonly found in shops, and they're the ones I thought you'd be most likely to buy for your mojitos, pestos, curries, and potentially a roast chicken. So these, when you first look at them, they look like full-grown plants. That's why you bought them, right? But actually, I'm going to tell you a little secret. They're actually single plants that have been bunched and mushed together into one tiny pot. And so that is actually why they die, because they are 50 little seedlings of basil plants that have been bunched together into a pot, and so they are competing for the food that is in the soil. And the soil itself is not enough, there's not enough food to, allow all of these little baby plants to survive. Makes sense, right? So because they are competing for, the little space that they have and the little nutrients that are left in the soil, then they start to droop and look really sad. Then you think that it needs more water, so you water it again, and actually ending up over-watering it, and that's really just the death sentence of the baby plants. They just can't take it anymore and they just die. When really it's the lack of space and nutrients in the soil that has killed it. It's even more obvious with these. As you can see here, there is one tiny shoot, and then another tiny shoot here. These are individual plants, and they want to live, but we're just not giving it the space that it needs to thrive. Well, if you've watched enough of my videos, you might have guessed that I'm going to repot it! Start off by taking this out of its pot, and oh my god, already this is insane. When you look at this, it's very obvious that it's root bound and that it dramatically needs to be repotted and given more space. So there are a few things that you can do when you have this is either quarter them, so then you can have a few of these singular plants into different pots, or if you have a lot of time and you want to go all the way, you can actually plant these singular seedlings into individual pots. So you know what? I'm gonna do that. leaves were so mushed together that it was literally impossible to separate them. So do your best, as always. You know, if you just try to do your best and you will do fine. I have my little nursery pots at the ready. Again, always upcycling. These are other store-bought herbs that I had and then kept them for this specific purpose. So you can either put a singular one into one pot or just put maybe one or two, so they still have space to grow and then they just look a bit fuller already. The only thing that you need to remember when repotting these is that you have to keep the same amount of soil in the new pot than what it used to have in its original pot. This way, it won't feel too shocked that you've given it so much room and it's confused and it might die on you anyway. Taking care of plants is a dangerous game. Here we go. That took no time at all, and I will have probably 15 different plants out of this one plant that I bought for £1.75. Let's talk about maintaining the health of your plant now. So the way that you pick leaves off of a basil plant, for example, will also impact its health and how long it will survive. So for any plant, you will want to choose the oldest leaves, which are often the ones at the bottom of the stem, and then gently pinch off like that. So again, really easy, pinching it off and keeping a bit of the stem, so then you'll actually likely regrow 2 leaves out of that one bit. Seems quite obvious, right? Oh well, I just pick a leaf off. No. If you just stare it away and not gently pinch it off, it will likely not regrow those, new two new leaves. So instead of, okay, I'm gonna be mean to this plant. Don't do that. Just be nice and pinch it off. After repotting your baby plants, it will likely become as big plants. And it will likely start to grow flowers. So this is not a bad thing per se, but it depends on what you want to do with your basil plant. So I have these at home because I love to cook and I love pesto, so I have a lot of basil. And when a basil plant starts to flower, it means that it will not be growing very large leaves, which is not what I want, because I want them to become bigger so I can harvest more and make more pesto. So if you see something like that, it doesn't really look like a flower like we would think a flower, but it's obviously very different than this. So if you see this, that means that your basil has flowered and there's a lot of energy going into growing this flower. So if you want a basil plant for its leaves, then just gently pinch off the flower, just like you pinch off the leaves. And then this way, it will start concentrating on growing big healthy leaves instead of flowers. This trick of giving more space to store-bought herbs really doesn't just work with basil, it works with any type of plants. It will be the same premise, just unpot it, check for individual seedlings, and then separate them. Works with mint, works with coriander, works with thyme, it's up to you. Buy your favorite herbs and then repot away. Bonus point is that you will have so many plants, of the same kind that you can give it to your friends for £1.75 or whatever. You make other people really happy. Now you might be wondering, okay, it's a lot of stuff. I'm going through all this process, buying the plants, having to cut it into little bits so it can survive, then have lots of different nursery pots so you can repot them, so you need to also buy maybe soil, etc. It might be a lot of effort, in your opinion. So, logically, is it actually easier or more time effective to grow your own herbs from seed? Well, there's no definitive answer to that either. It depends on what you want to do again. Are you going for something quick and fast? Then definitely you would go for a ready-made plant. Herbs are definitely one of the most satisfying things to grow from seed because compared to other things that you might be growing from seed, they are very fast, and so within a week you're gonna see a little shoot, which is always so exciting. Within a month you'll have something that looks like this, and then like that. Another cool thing is that growing your own herbs, you don't need that much space. They are grown from seeds, and then they will only really grow up to this size, especially if you just want them indoors. You can grow your own herbs from seeds any time of the year. How come? Because you're doing everything indoors, so you're not actually following the natural cycle of plant growth in the wild. The other factors to consider when wondering whether to buy one or start from seed is obviously the price. A plant you'll buy at the store, it will be roughly £2. And a bag of seeds that you can buy anywhere is roughly £2 as well. So in terms of price, there isn't that much of a difference. The second differentiator is time. So this one is obviously instant. This one, as I said, it takes a good month to grow it to a point where you can actually start harvesting. So yes, it does take longer, but on the other side, grown from seed is probably going to be more resilient as a plant because obviously you've started from a baby, and so you know exactly where it's been, its life's history. It hasn't gone through a lot. It's, you know, it got a lot of TLC from you. Whereas another plant from the store, it might have been in a warehouse for months with bad lights, not enough space, etc. I've said it all. So it might die on you, regardless of how much care and TLC you give it after you brought it home. The last difference between the two is the pride factor. You will be so proud of yourself when you're able to show your friends and family that you grew a big plant from seed, rather than just buying it at the supermarket. In conclusion, store-bought plants versus seed-grown plants, which is better? Personally, I like to grow herbs from seed because I love the pride factor, and I found that you get a more resilient plant in the end. But if you don't have time, not that kind of time, definitely go for a ready-made plant because then you can just get to cooking. If you are short on time, at least now I've given you the tools to take care of these store-bought plants and ensure that they stay with you on the long term and not just 2 weeks. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and this video was meant to be shared. So spread that love, share my video. I'll see you soon.